Hello and welcome to another one of these ADD videos. Today we're going to be looking at the concept of graphing either a sine or a cosine function. So some basic vocabulary that you must be familiar with is amplitude. The amplitude of a sine or a cosine graph is how far up or down the sine will go. All right, so it's going to be telling you what the highest and the lowest possible values for the graph is going to be. Now, you might have a shift up and down. We'll deal with that later, but that's the main use for the amplitude. It tells you the max value of the sine and the min. So if there's nothing there, we assume it's going to be between 1 and -1. Now we have the frequency is the number of times a fundamental cycle of sine shows up. What is a fundamental cycle of sine? So a fundamental cycle of sine, for instance, is one complete turn of the sine graph. So what does that mean? Well, the basic fundamental cycle we usually deal with is 0 to 2 pi. Now, we know that the sine function continues in either direction. It either goes to infinity or negative infinity. So, as a result, we know that there could be more than one basic shape like this. That's what frequency tells us. So, let's say the frequency is 2. That would mean there would be 2 complete sine graphs in the distance of 0 to 2 pi, where there would normally be 1. Okay, so it would look something like this. Okay, that's a rough sketch, pardon the inaccuracy, but still would go in either direction following that pattern. All right. And the period would be the distance between the beginning and the end. So in this case, it would be 2 pi. Now, that's if the frequency is 1. The formula for period, if you remember from the previous page, is that. So, the period, again, is the length it takes for the graph to make one complete cycle. And here's the formula that I just went over. And you'll note that it has a frequency in the denominator. Now, if you set this equal to 0, the bx plus c, it'll give you the phase shift left and right. All right? So that's the basic vocabulary. And what we have is that period, that fundamental cycle is this. So the way we're going to graph these to figure out our new endpoints of the fundamental cycle, we're going to put our phase transformation right there, the bx plus c, in between the original 2 endpoints of our fundamental cycle. Then by solving for x, we can then determine what the new endpoints of the fundamental cycle are. All right? So this was the frequency definition. It was telling us that whatever the coefficient is right there, it tells us how many cycle repeats we have. All right? So those are the basic terms and concepts you need to know for graphing sine and cosine. What you need to do now is check out the example videos and see it all in action, and it'll clear up. It might seem intimidating at first, but I promise you, if you just go through it, have a little faith, it'll all make sense. So, as always, practice, practice, practice. Thank you and have a nice day.